race along some of England's most beautiful countryside, you'll be in the cab of your selected locomotive, where you can use fully functional gauges and operate working controls. You are the engineer, and you'll be operating your train in a wide variety of realistic situations.
Hey, good morning, about 6:24 in the morning. This is what we call the Green Building, and this is where I come to book on in the morning, or whatever time I'm booking on duty. And then as I pan around, you get to see part of the yard. And then that building over there is known as the middle end. And then when I finish booking on, I'll drive right the way down the other end there, and I'll park my car and then go and find my train. To all intents and purposes, this is the car park at what we call the North End, and over there are the offices for the fitters for the fuel point. That engine is actually on the cart road, part of the fuel servicing staging area. They put on a cart road if they've got something wrong with them and need fixing usually. Now I go and report to the supervisor and find my train. This is part of the North End, and that's our local signal box. Crew sorting sidings north. And here you can see the yard in all its glory. And in front of me, you can just see tail lights on the Class 7T. That's my loco, and my train is on 1, 2, 3, 4 side tippers, which I know what they are. I'll tell you when you get nearer. That's my horrible wagons today. Now you can clearly see my loco with the lights on. That's one I've got to go and prep. That's what I'll be putting onto them wagons to leave in about an hour's time. Yep, here I am. I'm in my cab now of my loco. Welcome. Gonna have a guy come out and give me some paperwork in a minute, check the wagons and give me a brake test, and I'll be ready to rock and roll. So sit back and enjoy 7002 6 Charlie 16 Crew Basford Hall to Carlisle Kingmoor Yard. I will be your driver for today. Now over here are the sick bags. I'll speak to you again in a minute. Just got the nod to drop down, late running this morning, but pick up my paperwork and I'll be on my way. So just pulling out the yard. Hey.
Waiting papers. Waiting periodical delay for.
Yeah, no worries. 15 wagons, 43 903. 903. 903. No. 3. Save. Exit. Here we go. waving to a man on the ground. Slow line. Hey. Just give you a bit of a bird's eye view. A little signal on the ground says an S. That's the slow independent line. As we come out, the main aspect, we've got a red and a yellow. The yellow is what I'm heading for. And just a bit further forward and under the bridge, there'll be a red light. And basically these lines, they take you underneath Crewe Station, so you avoid the station. Yeah, wonderful, isn't it? Load of bananas. Let's shove it back. Somewhere around about there. Ish. Yeah. Right, I'll switch it off for a while and I'll put it on again a little bit later. Bye. Ciao. Well, we're well and truly on our way now. As you can see, there's a passenger train just gone past. That means I'm going to have to stop and wait while he goes past, because these 4 lines will go into 2 lines. And that's not fair. Oh, spot the windmill between the trees. That's it. It's there, honest. A load of old rubbish that was. Just whizzing along about 60 mile an hour now, and I'm having a pot noodle for breakfast. I'm blooming hungry this morning. Most unusual for me at this time of the morning to be eating anything. Right, 60 mile an hour. Just going past Winsford Box. Signal box. It's time for me to go back to my hot noodle. Or snack noodle as it's called. Ho ho ho. Heading up to Weaver Junction now. Weaver Junction, the line veers off to the left and takes you to Liverpool, and we go straight on, towards Warrington. That's Weaver Viaduct. Tell with the windscreen wiper, it's not really raining as such, but it's spitting enough. Oh man. Used to be some goods loops here once. There's a loop on this side and on the other side, and for some reason they got rid of them. That's that. Goes uphill a bit here, so I have to put a bit of power on now. See how it veers off now. around the bend you go to Liverpool. We're now trotting along towards Acton Bridge. And I'll film that. And you go right uphill, and when you get over the top of it, onto it, you're actually crossing the Manchester Ship Canal. And just after that, there's Arpley Yard, which belongs to DB Schenkner, or EWS, as it was known, and then Warrington Station. So that'll be the next bit. Hoo-ha! These are obviously all my knobs, dials and things and stuff to play around with. Loads of them. There's a bridge just coming up. It's another railway track over the top of us. It's known as the Helsby Lines. They originate going from Warrington and run parallel to these lines, but then it crosses over, and then when it goes that away, I'm pointing, eventually it'll get you to Chester. So that's where they go. As I say, known as the Helsby Lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. All good fun, isn't it? Oh yeah, I should tell you about that over there. That's a power station over there. I don't know, there's quite a few trees here. Yeah, it's over the top of the houses. That power station is known as Fiddler's Ferry. And whoever goes there, oh, they hate the place. And I've been trying to avoid it like the plague. Close to it once, but woohoo! The Carlisle men work coal trains down now from Carlisle to Fiddlers, so it's taken some pressure off us, and that's probably the reason why it hasn't happened, thank goodness. Although we do have drivers that still go there. We are now climbing uphill. I think I said Acton Bridge, didn't I? Like a twat. It's Acton Grange junction, and the bridge over the Manchester Ship Canal. And this signal can put you onto those Helsby lines I was telling you about, and take you forward towards Warrington. Straining away, trying to get uphill. Wonderful. And over there, again, that dreaded power station. And then here's the bridge. And that is the Manchester Ship Canal, and there's a bridge just in front there. It's a swing bridge, so it actually swings out of the way if there's traffic. I've actually seen it do that. I was actually sat in a blooming car waiting while two boats went past. I mean, they weren't ships, but they were large boats, so to speak. I thought I'd try and cheat it, and I went round a different way, and it was another bloody swing bridge, and I got caught in the end. I had to wait for the bridge to open and close, and they had trouble closing it up again. It's so old. Anyway, we're dropping down now towards Warrington Station. And with that, I will see you later on. Right, we're starting to approach Preston now, on the run up to it. It's quite a large station. I'm going to film it as we go through. I have to slow the train down to 30 mile an hour. We're doing 60 at the moment. And all the horns you were hearing were warning horns for the speeds coming up. And that's because there's a green light, green signal. So I'm turning around now. You can see there's a train on a different line, an opposite line to me. That's actually waiting to depart because he's on a goods line. Because the lines, well, there's 6 lines now, but there's only 4 lines before. He's waiting for some passenger services to come out of the way. And once they're gone, he'll be allowed to run these tanks. Passenger train down here, but that's going the same way I'm going, through the station. I mean, he's stopping, I'm not. But I am slowing down. You generally get a few spotters hanging around here as well. Platform 3, that's the usual. That means basically the down fast, which is the line we're on. We're just basically going to go through the down fast, not turning off to the right or the left. Passengers to walk over, and that gets in the way of the next signal. And it's not until we get to the next signal and we see what's what on it that tells us where we're going. We need an F. If there isn't an F, I'm in trouble, because you get an S, well, the F stands for fast, and you get an S on there. If you get an S, that's for the slow line, and I don't want to be put onto slow line here, because if you go on there, you're going to Blackpool, and I don't go to Blackpool. I certainly don't want to take this to Blackpool either. So, a bit of a bugbear, but there you go. You can get some other stuff on there, like a T and that. They're alright, it's just an S I mustn't take. And Preston signal box is just over on the left hand side. There's a white building, and then there's another building in front of it with a white carapace, and that's Preston signal box. Sometimes get guys hanging out, giving us a wave and that sort of thing. I give them a toot and a wave back, but not today. So that was Preston, and basically we're on our way to Lancaster now. Thank you for that. Rock and roll, back up to 60 mile an hour now. So, again, that's that little bit done. On with the next bit. Been put out of the way at Carnforth now. Waiting for some passengers to go past. Just had one go past now. I'm not due out of here until 10:25. It's now coming up for 10:10. So although I left late, I'm now back on time on schedule, so that's a good thing. Shouldn't you know, finish late when I get to my destination. Carnforth is home of the West Coast trains. Over yonder you can see some old locos, and there's some coaches and such like. All these bits are all sort of like old stuff that they do up, and they can put them into service, and they supply a lot of the charter trains that you see running around with the steam on the front, or you know, locos, heritage locos, old locos, or whatever. West Coast are responsible for a lot of that. In the distance is a bit of a grey tower thing. I think that's something to do with loading coal onto trains or something, you know, but in the old days. I wouldn't know, I wouldn't think it'd be working now, but that is what I think it is. But you know, it's just something from the past, a blast from the past. Line in front of us, you've got one line straight in front of us that veers around to the left. That goes towards Barrow-in-Furness, and then from Barrow-in-Furness you get round to Sellafield, all along the coast. Very nice, very nice. I used to like going along there years ago. And then eventually it'll get you back up to Carlisle Station. And the more direct route is where the line veers to the right, which is the way I'll go when I'm allowed. It continues. That's the West Coast main line, which continues on from here, Carnforth. That's Carnforth Station, obviously. It carries on towards Oxenholme, and you get up there for the Lake District. As the line takes you down to Windermere, going on, then you go to. Sorry, a van caught my eye. Yeah, it takes you on to Penrith and then Carlisle, and as we go from this point it all starts climbing up, and it all becomes sort of more open, and the hills and everything. So there you go. So that's that, and this is yours truly signing off for a minute. Well, we're through Oxenholme now, heading towards Greyrig. There's a loop that I suspect I'm supposed to be put out of the way there for traffic to go past, so that's a possibility. But you can see now everything is all opened up into the countryside. And there's another train by Direct Rail Services, who I used to work for. Yeah, it's all opening up into the countryside now as we climb and climb and climb towards Shap's Summit. So we're getting there. Well, this is Greyrig, and you'll see the loop in a second to the left. Here it comes. Now I should have gone in there to wait for more passenger services or something, you know. I am booked to go in there, but it's kept me running, which is a good thing. I always like it if we keep running and we don't get put out of the way. It means we get somewhere to our destination a bit quicker, usually. So that was a bit of luck. So as we go on towards Shap, we pass through what's known as Low Gill towards T-Bay first, and we will get the M6 motorway coming in, well, on our left hand side, not coming into the railway, but running parallel with us. And you can see the lovely hills and dales and everything. It's quite a sight. It does look pretty. Very often in winter, all the tops of them are snow-capped. See, the tops of them are covered in snow. So there's the M6. So if we're ever asked to drive a van up or down, we go whizzing by one way or the other. On our way to or from Carlisle, same as the tracks. What a wonderful day we're having, eh? It levels out a bit at the moment, but once we get to T-Bay, which is incidentally, there are loops at T-Bay as well. It may actually put me away in T-Bay. But once you leave that point until you get to Shap, it's really, really steep going. Uphill all the way, very, very steep. If you've got a heavy train, you crawl up. So there you go, that's that bit. Oh, got a bit of power on, I think. There we go. Well, remarkably, I didn't get put into T-Bay as well. It's kept me running. That means I'm going up and up and up and up, up the hill to Shap. And when I get there, then I start dropping down towards Penrith. And I reckon when I get to Penrith, he'll put me out the way at Penrith and allow some passenger services and stuff to go past. And then there's a final little leg then to Carlisle. It's not very far after that, so the worst of it is out the way, thankfully. Not particularly in the mood today. Knowing that Wednesday, when I come back to work, Wednesday, I've got to bring a train up Wednesday again to Kingmoor. But on this occasion, I don't have to get a taxi and pass back. I take the engine back. I'm booked to take the engine back, so that's better. And then on Friday, I don't have to come up here at all. Going to Toten with a coal train and bring an empty coal train back later on. So, coal train and coal train. Oh look, 2 yellows up to Shap. Now I shouldn't get 2 yellows. I'm just waving to a guy on the track. Shouldn't get 2 yellows here because it doesn't take me anywhere. I can't do anything with it. But obviously I'm being checked down to a red light. So I'll switch off so I can concentrate. See you in a bit. Right, I'm still running. I must be following something, or there's a problem with one of the signals. No, it's green light now. That's a good thing. This is just literally, we're just coming up now to Shap Summit. There's sidings up here. You can get ballast. There's like a quarry thing. So that signal there would direct you onto a line to get into the sidings. And as you can see, it's, well, the speed's 26 miles an hour, and you can hear it sort of like and I put a nice little sign just over there now, Shap Summit, 906 feet above sea level. Already she starts to pick up speed now as it's levelling out, and then she drops. It's a place called Eden Valley, just before Penrith. So there we go. I've been put in at Penrith as I suspected. So let, I presume, the Virgin go by. Sometimes there's 2 trains. But I'll have to sit there and wait, and then he'll let me go. Once he lets me go from there, whoosh, then I'm home free until I get through Carlisle Station and then into Kingmoor Yard. So it's like the final leg. So close, but so far. So I'm just coming up on the signal now that will put me into a loop line at Penrith Station. has gone green. So just do this now. Oh, there we go. This is one of the rarer loops. We can actually go 20-25 miles per hour into this one. Most of the others are like 15 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour. So not very fast. And most loops as well, you only get a 1 yellow. On this one, you get a green because there's a signal in between here and the station itself, which is where the loop line ends. Once I leave the station, I come back out onto just the main line again. So that's what it's all about. Funny enough, I said it's 25 mile an hour, but just before Penrith Station, it's 10 mile an hour. There's the M6 underneath us. No, it's not. It's on a bib. It's an A road. We've already passed over the M6. That's it. No more power now for a second or so. Just let it drop speed a bit. Now we're going over the M6. That sign in there goes M6 Scotland. It says Carlisle 19 miles underneath it. Fantastic, wonderful stuff. Sidings on the left hand side again. You get into there by a thing called a ground frame, and there's various tampers and stone blowers and on-track machines basically. Get in there to stable. I've worked something out of there once in all the years we've been coming up here. Ridiculous. Right, 10 mile an hour up to a red light, and that's Penrith Station just there in front of us. And I'm going to stick my slow speed on, which I may not need. So shut off now. Penrith Station. Still waiting. On paper I'm here for another half an hour. However, there's a passenger service on the opposite platform that's about to depart, and he may let me go after that one. So Just waiting for that one to depart, which is just departing now. There he goes. So once he's out of the way, possibility I might run. So we'll see. Well, I was right. He has let me run. Oh, pardon me. I just had a sandwich. 10 mile an hour out of here. Plus there's a red light round the corner, which will probably be yellow or green by the time I get to it. So we're on the last leg now to Carlisle, through Carlisle station and into Kingmoor Yard. And then once I'm in Kingmoor Yard, chop all the wagons off the back and put the engine on another road so it's ready for the guy that comes this afternoon to work Kilo 27 back to Crewe. And it's a case of getting on the phone, get a taxi organised, get to the station, get a passenger train back to Crewe, and that'll be another wonderful job done. Thank you for that. Right, turn this off. Yes. Have a butchers of what the colour light is around the corner. Don't open it up too quick. Oh, I think it's green light, so maximum acceleration to 60 mile an hour. Onwards and upwards. They're on the outskirts now, Carlisle. So we're just approaching Upperby Yard and everything, and then we're into Carlisle station. So not long now, and this dreaded trip will be over. Oh, I hate it, so boring. That's Upperby Yard on the right hand side. Most of it, a lot of it is all disused now. We get the occasional job where we conduct a tamper machine, an on-track machine up here, and stable it, or a rail grinder. Just park it down there on the right, up on the stop box. 20 mile an hour from the signal we're coming up to next. It's 20 mile an hour right through Carlisle station. There's a line that comes in on my left. It goes towards Maryport, but ultimately you can go to Barrow in Furness and then back round to that Carnforth I was talking about earlier. On the other side you can get to Leeds, Skipton, Newcastle upon Tyne, stuff like that. Signal box is on the left, that kind of white building. And this place, my god, train spotters, there's as many here as there are at Crewe. If you're held in the station while you wait to depart, and he's holding you in the station area, this end or the other end, but I think this end's the worst. My god, there they are. They're all taking photographs and everything. We're all at it. Where I'm going to be. Platform 4 for a train home. Video camera seems to have a life of its own. I just looked down at it and saw that it moved to the right. This next signal is the one that gives me an indication to go on to the goods to get to the yard. Drops into this one. We always aim to be doing 10 mile an hour when we get to this little blob that's in the middle of the track. That's all signals. If you're coming up on a red, that is, we aim to be doing 10 mile an hour. That blob was a magnet, and that's the thing that makes it either go ding dong or I'll just speed it up a little bit, but I can't do a lot. It's, I've got to bring it back down to 10 mile an hour again. Skateboard park over on the right hand side, and quite often during the holidays and things you see a lot of lads, you know, congregating there, and they've either got like mini scooters like Alice had, or their skateboards, but they don't do much with them. I mean, you don't see anybody doing tricks or anything. They just sort of like go backwards and forwards. It's more of a case of, I don't know, a status thing. That's a laugh. Oh, itchy roll. I don't know, we get to do 10 mile an hour because this side of the bridge is the track's laid down differently to on the main line, and on the main line you get to go a lot faster. We have to do 10 mile an hour. That says 25, but we still have to do 10 mile an hour. until the rear of the train, the back of the train, was past that point, that board. Then I can go up to 25 mile an hour. So I have a little countdown timer in here. Here it go, beep, in a minute. That tells me the back end's over. You have to program it with the length of your train before you start your journey. Hear it? That's it. Now we get to the nose braking speed of 25 mile an hour. And stopperoonie. Stop speeding up, that is. Coming up, there's DRS, Direct Rail Services Depot, Kingmoor Depot. When I first started with them, years and years ago, that facility was in complete disrepair when I first took it over. I've got photographs somewhere at home of what it looked like. They certainly spent some money on it and done it all up. This takes me down to a signal. It's blowing up with the man on the line. Down to a signal, the next signal, and that will actually, when it comes off, that will give me permission to go towards Kingmoor Yard. Right. This is fun. Actually, sometimes it's alright, it's just the same. Because I keep coming back. Carlisle at the moment. I'm just a bit cheesed off. Signalman has to get permission from the supervisor in the yard to allow him to give me the signal. So it looks like it's a bit of a wait at the moment. Still waiting to get in, and I think the main reason is because there's one coming out of the yard, and as he comes out, so it means I can't get in. So I'll just reading the newspaper at the moment. That's a long welded train, that is. Just conveys rail. There she blows. Well, the good news is, as soon as that train passed, we're allowed in. So we're on the move. Now, this signal shows a red light, but it's showing 2 white dots underneath it and a D in what we call a theatre box. That means a departure road. It tells me my destination. You can either get out onto the main line, or you can go round to some reception lines that are around the corner. So I have to make sure I'm taking the right one for you know, where I need to go. That sort of thing. That's why theatre box is there. To go into the yard, you never get a main aspect, you know, a colour light. You always go with what they call a subsidiary signal. You have to be careful with little subsidiary signals, because if there are any more on the track, you won't know until you get to them if they're on or if they're off. In other words, you might have to stop at the next one you come to. There is an extra one on this particular, that's the reason I mention it, because there's one on the ground we're approaching at the moment. Two white lights, that's what I want. I don't want 2 red. And then after I pass this into the yard, it just stops me down to a stop board. And when I get to the stop board, then I have to contact the yard staff. Switch off now. Oh look, some point work that's completely not point work. Apparently a coal train was being backed up over it the other day and it come off. It's wrecked it. This is the yard, part of the yard anyway, and that's the shunter's hut there, supervisor's hut. You can see further down, goes quite a long way. It actually goes a long way. There's a lot more further down that you can't see. So there we go, and there's more rails up there as well. There's more up there. So I'm waiting for my taxi now. So there we go. And this is Carlisle Station in all its glory. That's the station. Just do a quick pan round up to the High Street, or one of them. And over there you've got like a citadel, the gates to the city. There's one there, and there's one there right in front of me as well. We pan back round, and it's Carlisle Station. Carlisle Station. That's north, the other way was south. Well, back at Crew Station. This is a little used platform, this one, platform 12. Most of the main platforms are over there. And now I'll start the long walk back down to the yard. Oh, and I've got indigestion, something chronic. Oh dear. A couple of old bay platforms here. Have been used years ago for more services, and now up there is called the horse landing. Had a lot more activity years ago. As you can see now, dominated by Virgins. This used to be the train maintenance depot. It were EWS when I started. It still belongs to EWS or DB Schenkler now. But it doesn't get any use. You can't get fuel here or anything like that. It used to be a fueling point and everything. It used to be very, very busy. It gets a bit of work, but not an awful lot. And this is a bit I have to walk right down to the bottom, and then another bit of filming, and do another walk. Well, that's where I just walked from, down there. And those are the lines coming from Crew Station, and they go, these lines now, they go round and they go towards Nantwich. And I come back with the train, and I come from over the bridge and down. They're called the independent lines, and that's Salop and Salop signal box. And then you can see from the bridge here, these are the lines I was telling you about, the independent lines, and then that's the yard down there. So I have to walk down the side there where the lamps are, and so I get to the bottom of there, and I'm back at the yard. More or less back where I started now. The signal box, Salton Sidings North, where you can see the fella walking around. That's the shunter's hut. Team leaders, supervisor, and also our mess room. There's a train just departing there, or it's going to make a shunt move, one or the other. That's an intermodal train, so I'll just carry on walking. Oh look, that's where I parked my car this morning. Time to go home. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my little trip to Carlisle today. I don't know which is best. I'm going round in a circle here because the old sun's a bit bright. Anyway, the sooner I get in the car, the sooner I get home. So bye bye from me.
Top panel signal speaking.
Hello, this is 2 Romeo 43, standing at Sierra Yankee number 8.
Hello there, driver, 2 Romeo 43, standing at Sierra Yankee 8 signal. What is drive? Your colleague on the one that's just gone past you has reported, you're not going to believe this, you know on the road bridge by Owl Church Station,
Yeah.
that goes over the railway there,
Yeah.
a gentleman in black tights,
It's bollocks.
masturbating as the trains go past. So he didn't know whether it was going to be a lady driver on the one coming down towards Barn Green, but we're just advising drivers in case he's a danger to himself.
Okay, okay.
Okay, mate. I'll clear the signal for you now.
All right.
And just watch out for the tosser on.
believe it. All right, mate.
Okay, drive.
All right.
Cheers, mate. See ya. Okay.